thing.
Why don't you play us something, baby? Why don't you play us some? Why don't you play us something, baby?
Start? I don't feel so good. It's fucking molten!
Two Oceans 20, baby.
Oh, put your 2020 glasses on, baby.
Welcome to the new year with Movie Epidemic Podcast.
Do you think the people that make those stupid glasses, you know, like the 2008, you know those glasses? Do you think they were excited because they're like, we got 2 zeros again?
Yeah, we got 2 zeros. Yeah, having a really good time. But have you seen the glasses with the 2 zeros?
They're off centered, right?
No, not really. The one that I saw, it had the 2 on the side, and then the zeros and the zeros, and then one of the 2s was just up top.
Glasses makers, we needed to end this in 2009. Anything else is hacked.
Stop.
2010 maybe.
Enough. Happy New Year, Buck.
Happy New Year. It's the most wonderful time of the year. Our downloads have reset, and we're on the road to 150,000, where we will do meth live on this podcast.
wait. No. Oh, wait, we did say that, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
Fuck.
We promised if we get 150,000 downloads this year, we will do meth live on the Movie Epidemic podcast.
Absolutely. You know what? I'm very scared, but I made the promise.
So you want to ring in the New Year's with a nice review on iTunes here?
Yeah, as we head into the new year, we remember that there's the reviews that we've been ignoring all year.
Yeah.
Because we don't give
October
a shit.
October 15th was this one.
This one's October 15th. Hit me with it.
The tagline is, the absolute best guarantee.
I agree.
I found Movie Epidemic serendipitously from Buck's Letterbox profile at Last Cool Dude on Letterbox and haven't missed an episode.
Oh.
I find the show to be hilarious and informative whether Buck is alone or with his cheerleaders, Chadley and Podcast Bot 5000. Seriously, guys.
What about Podcast Bot 8000?
Update the Podcast Bot. Thing is a safety hazard. I agree.
I agree.
Though constantly joking, these hosts have a valid, mature, and unique perspective on new releases and old, and are able to pull references from a huge range of films and directors. That's what we pride ourselves on.
That's correct.
We've seen a lot of fucking movies.
We're not smart, but we have seen
encyclopedia knowledge
Yeah.
of film. That doesn't translate into actual skill at reviewing,
Yeah,
which has been shown many times.
Yeah, we're just a couple of Rain Men.
Couple of just, oh man, I wish I had my soundboard going because then I could do some offensive stuff and not actually say it. I'm constantly learning, and I don't mind playing 2 or 3 episodes back to back. The energy of the show is highly engaging, and I'm always happy to clank on it.
Clank on it.
Clack on it?
Clack?
I guess clack on it.
Hey, everybody, clank on our podcast. Wait, who gave this review?
This is from Dunzo. His letterbox profile is bored. to bliss.
Cool. Awesome.
Boredom to bliss. Boredom to bliss.
Thank you for saying those things. As much as I disagree with the positives, thank you for
Could have
saying
been a
them.
little more negative, honestly, but thank
been
you for the 5 stars.
Could have been scathing. Give us 5 stars, but say mean things.
Yeah, so next time,
yeah.
So for the rest of you that haven't left a review on there yet, go say some mean things on there, because that's what we like.
Absolutely. And we also want to apologize for going so long without checking our reviews.
Yeah, that's our bad.
Yeah,
I just got an iPhone, so now I can check it.
Yeah, we have somebody on the iTunes now.
Yeah.
We have somebody on there. I would never have an iPhone, but that's your journey. So
that is my journey.
Welcome to the Movie Epidemic podcast. In Two Oceans 20. Podcast Bot 5000. Hey, buddy.
What's up, Chadley?
Happy New Year's. What'd you get up to on New Year's Eve?
Did a lot of cocaine.
Hey, don't want to hear about that.
Did a lot of cocaine,
Don't
Chadley.
admit that on the show.
So much cocaine.
Illegal drug. Did you do a cocaine with The Weeknd?
I didn't. I was wearing my Trump socks, so I don't think anybody black would have anything to do with me.
Okay, I don't. Podcast Bot, I can't.
I'm on the campaign trail for 2020.
I can't hear this.
I might have to take some breaks around November because I got to go on the campaign trail.
Well, you might have to go on the campaign trail.
President-elect.
You might have to go on the campaign trail a little bit earlier because it looks like Trumpo's out, so dude. He looks like he's gonna be gone.
That's liberal bullshit. So what you guys are watching today, it's the big one, guys. It's the Star Wars episode. This shit's going to automatically get 150 downloads. That's how the Star Wars episode works.
Hell yeah.
Star Wars Rise of the Skywalker. We've got some A24. Oscar for Sandman is what Podcast Bot says. Oscar for Sandman.
Oscar for Sandman. I agree.
Uncut Gems. You've also got some Something about popes. The two popes.
2 popes.
Is there 2 of them?
Couple of them.
I've only ever seen one at a time in the Pope Mobile, personally.
But in the movie, there is a couple of them.
Okay.
I've seen 2 of them. I've seen the film.
The year of the director, Chadley.
Yeah.
The first one you picked was Wes Anderson, because you're obvious.
Correct.
And then you went with Rushmore. So that's your pick for this week.
Absolutely. We'll be talking about Wes Anderson's Rushmore.
Absolutely.
On the year of directors.
Thank you for that podcast.
Thank you, Podcast Bot 5000.
He's really coked up these days.
All right, so disclaimer here: if you haven't seen Star Wars: Rise of Skywalker yet, you're not seeing it. You don't care if you haven't seen it by now.
Weeks.
We gave you a few weeks
We
to
gave
settle
you
down.
several weeks.
We're gonna spoil the fuck out of it. This is for people who have seen the movie. But if you haven't seen the movie,
skip 47 minutes ahead.
If you have not seen the movie and you don't intend to, you can stay and hear us talk shit about it. But if you have, and say some positives,
or if you've just like read the synopsis on Reddit, then you can stay.
Yeah, you can stick around. But if you don't care about Star Wars at all, correct. 47 minutes. I was gonna go
to the movie with our buddy Hardner, but he's like, "Oh, I already read what it was. I already read the plot synopsis on Reddit. I don't want to see it." And I'm like, "Okay, cool."
That's amazing.
So I took my dad. We sat in those lazy boys for it because that's the only way you can do it. Without...
I also sat in Lazy Boys.
Yeah, you sat in the Lazy Boys?
I went on a fucking, it was like a Wednesday or something, and this thing was packed. And I'm like, how is this thing packed on a Wednesday afternoon? It's insane. This movie, obviously it's doing well financially. I don't think anybody can really dispute that. And here's the thing. Okay, I'm going to be comparing this movie to Last Jedi a lot because famously we gave Last Jedi an extremely poor review because that movie is extremely fucking bad. But here's what we're gonna say about Last Jedi. All right. So Rian Johnson wrote and directed Star Wars Episode 8, The Last Jedi, and he took a bunch of really fucking bizarro ass risks, and they were all fucking weird.
Yeah.
They were all weird, and they were bad risks. At the end of the day, they were bad risks.
People will argue that, but those people are not correct.
Yeah, they're bad risks at the end of the day because Rian Johnson.
I will agree that they are risks, like you said.
They are risks. They are risks, but they are bad risks because Rian Johnson does not know how to write. But here's the thing about Last Jedi compared to Rise of Skywalker.
What's that?
At least it's got risks.
Yeah. At least it tried to do something.
Holy fuck. Rise of Skywalker, it's not worse than Last Jedi, but shit's close.
It's very close. I would argue that they're both unwatchable.
They're both equal bad. Now, I've talked to a lot of Star Wars fans who say, I love Rise of Skywalker, but I've also talked to those same people and they love Last Jedi. I get this one more. I get why somebody would like this one more than if you like Last Jedi. Because that movie's insane. Last Jedi is insane. That's garbage.
Very specific.
That movie's insane. There's no way you can like that. There's no reason you should like it.
It's a movie about Hillary Clinton.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
Rise of Skywalker, I get why people would like it. Because the first 20 minutes of this movie is actually not bad. And I'm sitting there in the theater, and I've read all these negative reviews about the movie, and I'm like, I'm not sure I get it. You know, Poe Dameron's going through that fucking weird tunnel thing, and Kylo Ren talks to Palpatine. But to really, really talk about why this movie's bad, we have to talk about everything. So that's your spoiler warning right there. We have to talk about fucking everything that happens in this movie.
Yeah.
You get your first 20 minutes and you're like, oh, this isn't so bad. This isn't so bad.
Right.
Then Rey is like doing the weird meditation thing with the rocks. And then Leia Organa is like, you need to find the magic box.
Yeah, and she's looking real shiny.
She's looking real shitty CG.
Not her.
That's absolutely not her.
I love how they're like, we got a lot of Leia, and then you're like, not even one scene was a real Leia.
Yeah, and we'll talk about that more because I have a lot of problems with Leia's story arc.
No shit.
I got like 15 different problems. Dude, this movie is like structurally perfectly fine, but then there's...
I don't know about that. It's just them stumbling onto their goals. It's like watching someone play a video game.
I actually agree. I was actually going to make that point myself. It's very video game-esque. Because the first moment where I went, oh, okay, I get it. This movie's bad. That first moment was when they were like, you have to find the magic box. And I'm like, oh my fucking God, we're going
like, how
to
do we find the magic box? And they're like, you got to go to this guy. And they're like, okay. So
yeah.
they go to the guy and then they trip onto it.
Yeah, they just trip onto it and there it is. And so like, we sort of glazed over a bit, but the MacGuffin quest of looking for the box is over an hour.
It's most of the movie.
It's a lot of the movie. And that pisses me off because I don't want to see a MacGuffin quest. And you know what? A MacGuffin quest is fine sometimes, but you have to give me specifics. You have to give me specifics. Like
it also can't be that easy.
In Harry Potter, I think the MacGuffin quest is almost fine because they've been talking about the shit for 7 books.
Sure.
But in this one, it's like there's a magic box you've never heard of that gets you to a magic planet you've never fucking heard of.
She found it in a magic book.
Of legend. Of legend, by the way. C-3PO is like, oh, the legendary hexagonal planet. And I'm like, what? We've never heard of this before.
We've never heard of it. And not only that, but Palpatine's there, and he's got a army of Star Destroyers.
Sure. And you know what? Whatever with the fucking Palpatine thing. Here's the thing, is that the movie starts off with Palpatine coming back.
Yeah.
And they don't even try to explain why he's back, except for there's one line, and it's a throwback to Revenge of the Sith, which we all know is the second best Star Wars film.
Sure.
Next to Empire Strikes Back. And it's where he's like, the path to the dark side gives, I forget exactly what it is, but it's like, it gives you powers that some people find unnatural. That's the fucking explanation.
It's the most vague shit of all time. They've got like a vat of cloned, what's the guy from the last one? The bad guy? I can't even remember. It's so shitty.
Snoke?
There's like a clone. There's a vat clone of Snoke's, and those are apparently Palpatine clones that were failed. Turns out Palpatine was behind it the whole time.
Oh no, he was pulling the strings like a puppet master. And you know what?
Every voice you heard in your head was me.
Yeah,
it's like, okay, but here's the thing: Snoke knew that Rey and Kylo were a connected force. But Palpatine didn't. I don't know if you were every voice in his head. I don't know about that.
Also, based on your logic, you are, in fact, Snoke. So I don't think you're right. I think that makes no fucking sense. And so much of this movie makes...
So much plot holes everywhere. We got horses on spaceships everywhere.
Yeah, when they were riding horses on
I got 5 on it.
When they were riding the horses on the starship,
the guy beside me laughed.
Dude, I think I would too.
The guy beside me did this when there was spaces on a starship, and he like looked around and walked out.
Dude, you know how like when we're in a movie, like immediately after the movie, we have to take a piss because we hold it because we want to watch the whole thing?
Yeah.
I took like 2 bathroom breaks in this thing, dude. I didn't give a shit. Dude, I took 2 bathroom breaks. Okay, so Rey, Finn, and Poe. Now, let's talk about this dynamic now because this is the dynamic the movie's built on. These 3 people saying non sequiturs that have nothing to do with anything, pretty much. Like every now and again, yeah, they fly now. Every now and again, somebody gets mad, and then Poe stands up and he's like, "If it's not for friendship, then the dark side wins. We have to stay together."
But he's auditioning for the new Power Rangers.
Yeah, exactly. He's just saying non sequiturs,
and I love like a lot of the cast.
Yeah,
to be fair, and I think a lot of them are great characters that they absolutely just shit on.
Yeah, they absolutely fucking waste.
Like,
and you know what? Finn and Poe might be the worst of them all.
Yeah.
The worst waste of them all because it feels like to an average viewer that they're the second and third main characters. Except, let's take a look at this fucking thing and notice they don't do anything.
Well, and it's crazy too because like I think we've even mentioned this before, but Finn is an ex-stormtrooper, force sensitive.
Yep.
That's the story, not just some random girl that happens to be Palpatine's granddaughter. You know, it's like...
And you know what? I want to talk about the Palpatine's granddaughter thing in a moment because we're going to get to so much shit.
We're going to get to it.
But I have huge problems with that.
But we're talking about Finn right now.
Yeah, we're talking about Finn. And like... he doesn't do anything in this movie at all.
And there's like, when you go back and watch The Force Awakens and you see him like the first time when he gets that lightsaber and he fights that fucking stormtrooper, and you're
That's
like,
it.
And you're like, this is it. This is the shit right here.
And you're like, of course he's bad. He's gonna have to learn to be good. But no, he's not even interested.
But then they pull a reverse thing where they're like, maybe she's gonna be bad, but you're like, she's the hero. She's not gonna be bad.
Who, Rey?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course not. But here's the thing. Rian Johnson, that's the risk right there. That's the risk. Make Rey a bad guy, and then Finn has to kill her in the 9th movie. There it is. That's how you unfuck up this franchise.
That would be a movie that I would watch the fuck out of.
Yeah, me too.
Because now you get this thing, where I'm sure we'll get to it, but Kylo arguably has the best arc in the movie, and then they just shit him away.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll
get to that. We'll get to that.
They fucking destroy Kylo Ren in this one, and it pisses me off. But we'll talk about that in a little bit. Okay, so they're on this MacGuffin quest, all right?
Yeah.
And then...
Did you like when they went to the music festival in the desert?
Yeah, and there was all the weird...
And then Lando was there?
Yeah. Let's talk about that now, because there's a part in this movie where essentially
they go to fucking Bonnaroo,
and
they go to fucking Joshua Tree.
Yeah, they go to Joshua Tree.
They go to fucking what's that thing?
Shambhala?
In the desert? No, not Shambhala. The one,
Burning Man.
Yeah, they go to Burning Man.
Yeah, they basically go to Burning Man, but then the Kylo Ren is coming in on his ship because they tracked her there, and so
as seen in trailer,
and so. Fucking the Wookiee, Chewbacca, Finn, and Poe run away. They're trying to run away, and then this guy in a helmet is like, "I can help you hide," and he hides him. And then they're like, "Who are you?" And he takes off his helmet. It's Lando Calrissian. He looks directly.
He's like, "I'm that Burning Man, baby."
And here's the thing: I don't know if this was the actual line of dialogue, but it's certainly what I heard. Lando Calrissian takes off his helmet, looks directly at the camera, and goes, "Star Wars," because like. This is one of my biggest qualms with the movie, because Lando Calrissian is in the movie and does nothing.
And he's in the trailer so much.
He does nothing. He's not in it. He's only there so the people can go, ha 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 ha, Lando.
Well, apparently he goes.
The guy.
Apparently he goes and collects backup at the end, and you're like, okay.
Yeah, sure, but I think you could have just done that with phone call.
Probably with phone call.
Probably just do that
Probably
with
pick up your cell phone.
Phone call. Let's edit Calrissian
off
out
your
of here.
communicator.
And to be fair, Palpatine being in this movie is the same shit.
Yeah.
Like it feels like what happened was JJ had a really specific vision for how this last movie was gonna go, and then they killed Snoke, and then Rian Johnson fucked up and killed Snoke. He's like, son of a bitch, what do I do now? Oh, you know what? I think I got some. Like, I feel like him and Kathleen Kennedy and Feige were all in a room.
I heard Palpatine was Kathleen Kennedy's idea, because
I have also heard that.
Now that the movie is out and got shit reviews, everyone that has like a big creative stake in it is throwing the other creatives under the bus, and it's the funniest thing I've ever seen. Like, that writer that's not JJ, he's just like, JJ fucked this up, Kathleen Kennedy fucked this up. He's trying to save his career, you know?
And you know what? Here's the thing.
And you just have fucking Finn out there, John Boyega just throwing everybody under the bus, being like, you fucked up my characters so badly.
Remember when John Boyega fucking sold a script on eBay? That was funny.
Oh, yeah. Fuck yeah. He's a little leak meister.
Yeah, dude, he's a leak man, dude. He should be in jail.
Probably should be in prison.
Yeah, he should be in prison. But watching this movie, it's very clear to me who fucked it up. You know, and I'd love to sit here and be like, it's JJ. He fucked it up. It's Kathleen Kennedy. She fucked it up. No. Iger fucked this up.
We're going with Bob Iger.
Iger fucked this up so hard. And I've got a few different reasons, because you know when you're watching a Disney movie and you're like, that's a Disney call right there.
Yeah.
That's a Disney call right there. Stop killing people and then immediately taking it back, you fucking Disney fucks. And this is in so many fucking Disney movies. That's how I know it's Bob Iger. You can't kill Chewbacca and then give me Chewbacca back in the next fucking scene.
The next fucking
and the
scene.
next fucking scene. And then kill C-3PO. And then he's just conveniently unfucking dead. They don't even explain 3PO, by the way. He's just not dead. Like, he's dead at one point, and then he's just not dead.
The R2 unit had my brain cells.
Yeah, but they already stepped on that. They're like, didn't R2 have your brain cells? And he's like, no, that's not gonna work.
The R2 unit had a backup, but it's spotty.
But it's spotty. But it's gonna work this time. Because
I did like that little hacker guy, though.
Ooh, Babu Frick.
Babu Frick, that's correct.
Did you know that Babu Frick was voiced by the same girl who plays Moaning Myrtle in Harry Potter?
Yeah, I heard that.
Pretty wild, dude.
Powerful Babu Frick.
Not credited though, because
uncredited. They do a lot of uncredited for voices in this shit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Fucking. Did you see the Kevin Smith Stormtrooper?
I did not. There was a fat Stormtrooper.
There was, but also he also plays like a vending machine unit on that planet with Babu Frick with all the police state stuff.
Yeah,
he plays a vending machine.
Yeah,
Kevin Smith.
That's pretty accurate. Okay, so Lando's in the movie. He doesn't do anything. Then comes my next big problem, all right? So they go into the middle of the desert and they get sucked into fucking
this is to me the worst part in the movie.
The worst part, I think I would not argue heavily that this is the worst part of the movie. They get sucked into the sand, and then suddenly they're in this tunnel, and they're like, somebody else had previously been sucked into this tunnel, and they're like, how did he get out? And they find his skeleton, and they're like,
but
he didn't.
Conveniently, that is the guy they were looking for.
Conveniently.
That has the fucking map to the cube.
And they just stumbled onto
it. And they literally trip onto it. And that was the point in the place where I'm like, I'm going to take out this gun from my waistband and start shooting.
At people or just in general?
Just wherever. Dude. Probably at the screen mostly.
I fucking want to hit.
Click.
I want to hit JJ, dude. I want to clip him.
JJ didn't do it.
JJ did not do it. I texted you that immediately after the movie. And I felt bad because my girlfriend was like, that was amazing. And I was like, no, it wasn't. And then I went on a 40-minute rant about how...
No, it isn't, you dumb bitch.
Whoa. Derogatory. But anyway, fuck. And then, as if this movie couldn't get any worse, they find the knife, like this weird knife that this guy had on him. And they're like, C-3PO looks at it and says the worst line of dialogue in human history. He just says, the knife says the location of the box. What?
But I can't read it because it's in Sith.
Because it's in Sith. Okay, but first of all, why the fuck did someone write that on a knife? Why the fuck? Who did this? Who did that and why?
It's written on a knife. It's a fucking map, y'all.
It's written on a knife.
They stumbled on the MacGuffin that happened to be a map. Cool.
Yeah, and it was a knife that was also a map.
And then they're like, let's go to the next MacGuffin via the map.
Yeah, let's go to the next MacGuffin. And now this is where the movie continues to dive down a hole that I do not enjoy at all.
Yeah.
And that is they go to Kijiji. Yeah, they go to Kijiji.
My dad straight up turned to me and made a Kijiji joke.
Dude, I thought about it, but
because there's a part where Poe's like, I've had some trouble with Kijimi, and my dad turns to me and he's like, trouble with Kijiji?
Here's the thing, I thought about doing it, but the problem is that this was a packed theater and everyone was being so respectful.
Mine was also respectful.
Everybody was being so respectful. They were watching the movie. They weren't yelling. They weren't talking. They weren't texting. And I didn't want to be the guy.
People were watching, dude.
Yeah, people were interested in seeing this.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to.
Which is crazy because I didn't want to see it.
You know what the craziest part about it is that the people directly to my right was a group of 13-year-old boys. And I was like, oh, they're going to fuck this up. No, didn't say a word.
Well, this is for them, though.
Yeah, too true. They probably loved it, as they should. So they go to Kijimi, and then...
Kijiji.
They go to Kijimi, and then two of the worst things happens. Number one, there's just Holocaust imagery for some reason. Of like stormtroopers like
knocking on doors
and pulling Jewish people out into the streets. And that's got nothing to do with nothing. So don't worry about that. But then this lady comes in and she's like, Poe, my long lost love.
Yeah.
And then there's like this romance thing with Poe and this girl who only wears a helmet.
Boring helmet lady.
Yeah, boring.
That's what Star Wars is known for.
Yeah, we got this romance between Poe and boring helmet lady where they sit on top. By the way, you see boring helmet lady die, but then she shows up later in the movie.
Yeah,
I just want to.
But all good.
Yeah, I want to make that very clear. You see her die, and then she shows up later in the movie. It's like a fucking Michelle Rodriguez shit.
Are they gonna in the next one? Are they gonna replay the her spaceship blowing up and her bailing out onto a horse or something?
Yeah, absolutely. And then fucking
there's just so many horses on top of that fucking Star Destroyer.
Yeah, and then just riding a horse to freedom. And so then there's like 20 minutes of this, and it has nothing to do with anything. It never concludes. It never goes anywhere. There's no point for it. It's just
they don't fuck.
Yeah, they don't fuck. It's just so that Poe can be kind of weird.
It's these Disney Star Wars are amazingly sexless and politicalless, unless you count the one that's about Hillary Clinton that Rian Johnson made for whatever reason.
Yeah, for whatever reason he made that. And the thing is like people. I've talked to so many people about this, and they're like, "Well, you didn't like Last Jedi because it took too many risks, and you didn't like this one because it took too few risks."
Yeah, but there's a middle there.
There's a middle ground for sure, but also the risks in Last Jedi were bad. May I remind you? So
Holdo, guys.
It's
Hillary Clinton. Guys,
it's Hillary.
Have you seen Rian Johnson's fucking Twitter feed? All he thinks Russian trolls. He thinks Russian trolls made his Rotten Tomatoes score so low. He thinks Russian trolls did it, Chadley.
Didn't he put Border on his favorite movies of the year list?
I don't know, dude.
Maybe he thinks it's a biopic.
Border's good though, dude.
Border is not good.
Yeah, dude. Those trolls fucking.
Oh no, that was Hideo Kojima who put Border on his top 10.
That makes sense,
Yeah.
dude. That makes a lot of sense.
That's a Kojima film for sure. But anyway, so then there's this plot line. But then, as if like to add insult to injury, there's another fucking romance plot line that means nothing with Finn and some lady who's also a stormtrooper.
Lando's kid.
Who is Lando's daughter?
Who is Lando's daughter?
For some fucking reason.
Because apparently you can only be a successful woman in Star Wars if your dad was somebody cool.
And like the thing is, like with Rey, I was like, cool, an original character that doesn't have anything to do with the fucking rest of the movies.
Ha! Gotcha, bitch.
Got me. And Finn's fucking really. Poe is the only character who's good, and they don't let him do nothing in this movie. He's the only character that's good. They don't let him do nothing. You know what? I gave this a 2 in my written review, but now that I'm talking about it, I might pump it down a little bit.
Yeah.
But then, and here is the biggest fault in JJ's job, because it is in this scene where I realized, wow, JJ, you're a bad director. And here's what it is. They're fucking on a starship destroyer for some reason.
Just on top of it.
They're,
all good.
No, they're not on top of it. At this point, they're in it.
Oh, in it.
At this point,
right. There's that full section.
There's that full scene
I forgot about.
where Kylo Ren and Rey, they meet up and they start lightsaber battling, and then he's like, we can destroy Palpatine together. Let's do it. Let's go. Let's rock and roll. And she's like, no, that ain't me. And then he looks her dead ass in the face and he's like, don't you know who you are? And this is my biggest problem, because Rian Johnson's Last Jedi is bad except for one scene, and that's the scene where he's like, your parents are nobodies. That's the best part, where you're like, good. That's a wonderful foyer. Absolutely, her parents are nobodies. Perfect. Just leave it at that. Not JJ. You, fucking Kylo Ren looks her dead ass in the face and is like, you are Palpatine's granddaughter. And she doesn't react at all to this information. She just absorbs it and is like, okay. What?
Continues on like nothing happens.
What? What the fuck are Disney? What the actual fuck are you doing? How can you give that information and then just move along as if nothing had just happened? Like that scene could have been taken out completely. They didn't even have to establish the link that she was Palpatine's granddaughter. It would have been the same fucking movie. Because she's still, the whole time, she was just trying to go and kill Palpatine.
Yeah, and she does that.
Also, then they're like, yes, you were Palpatine's granddaughter from his son that you never heard of.
That you've never seen or heard of.
That you've never heard of.
Has never been mentioned even once. And he was a senator at the same time as the Revenge of the Sith.
Who fucked that guy? Who fucked Palpatine? Nah, just kidding. We're asking for answers JJ simply does not have.
You know when you see some electricity coming out of somebody, that it's evil.
Yeah, and fucking Rey does do the electric hands thing, which, by the way, don't let her do that once and then not have her do it again. It's a fucking Jedi
also
thing.
When she does it, she has the trauma of killing Chewbacca, and then he's in the next scene. Just kill Chewbacca.
Yeah,
you know,
you guys. Mayhew is dead. Peter Mayhew died. You have to get rid of him.
They only wanted it so that they could have a scene at the end with Maz Kanata where she wants to fuck that Wookiee. Oh, I wanted some of that Wookiee dick. I'm Maz Kanata.
Yeah,
give me some of that Wookiee dick.
Which, by the way, Maz Kanata is not only basically an extra in this movie, but at some points she is just speaking for Leia because Carrie Fisher's dead.
Just does all the Leia stuff.
Just does all the Leia stuff.
Because they're like, who else do we have that looks like Leia? And they're like, what about Maz Kanata? She's 1,000 years old and wants to fuck that Wookiee.
Yeah. And then you have Rose, who's not in this movie.
Yeah.
She's there. She is there. She's present. You know, and you took attendance at the beginning of class. She put her hand up.
Arguably because the internet hated her so much.
Yeah, but I wanted to see.
That's not good, guys. That's studio meddling.
I wanted to see Finn and Rose actually interact more because
Put his dick in her?
Yeah, like I did give a shit about that relationship, but you want to know what relationship I do not care about?
What's
at all? Rey and Ben. Not into that. Not into that at all. Because Kylo Ren kills so many people.
Yeah.
And then, you guys, here comes the biggest spoiler in the whole fucking thing. Kylo Ren's a good guy.
Yeah.
Oh no, he's a good guy, guys. And then Kylo Ren kills so many innocent people, and then like he's just like, I'm not gonna kill any more people, and she's like, sweet, let's fuck.
But here's the thing, though, is like the Kylo Ren arc is good and almost the most relatable character because he is so flawed, because he was abused as a child,
and he's conflicted
because of all these things, and then to end this movie with him redeeming himself of everything and just disappearing. That's like disappearing the one connection to this movie to me. And that's like, that to me, disappearing fucking Ben Kenobi.
Yeah. You know what? Here's the thing. I can't believe how hard they leaned into the fucking turning into clothes, like dying by turning into clothes thing. Like, that was the worst part of A New Hope,
They only did it because they didn't have fucking other special effects at the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
In the original.
And now you guys are just doing that? Okay.
But to me, when fucking Kylo Ren disappears, that's like, to me, the last connection I have to Star Wars, just disappearing and nothing fucking matters. And I don't care about Star Wars at all anymore. Like, it makes me like the other ones less, the good ones.
Now let's talk about this in particular, because throughout this movie, Rey has discovered that she has like this weird healing power that you've never heard of.
That we've never mentioned any Star Wars.
We've never mentioned any Star Wars. So much so that when she uses it in front of Palpatine, he basically looks at the camera and goes, the sacred ye old healing Jedi power that I haven't heard of or talked about since shortly before the events of Phantom Menace. Fuck off. Like, seriously,
I was just
fuck
talking
right
about that before Jar Jar showed up.
But then Jar Jar showed up and I got distracted for 180 years. And it's so dumb. And then fucking Palpatine's on like he's on like a crane.
Yeah, he looks like he's on the fucking Doctor Octopus fucking arms.
He looks like GLaDOS from Portal.
Dude, I straight up was like, yo, where is Alfred Molina?
Yeah. And so then you have the final fight. And granted, this is one of the pros I'm going to give you. That final fight where they're all just shooting and dogfighting in skies, it's nonsense. It doesn't look like anything.
It looks like absolute nothing.
But it's fun, I guess.
But this is, I was saying that the scene where they trip on the MacGuffin's my least favorite scene. My least favorite scene is when they land on a Star Destroyer and a bunch of horses comes out.
You know what's my least favorite scene in this movie? Is when fucking Luke Skywalker force ghosts back his fucking way. Mark Hamill force ghosts his way back into a series he clearly has no part in anymore.
Yep, we also get a little Harrison Ford tidbit.
You know what? I liked that part.
That one worked. I think that one worked.
That one is fun. Where Han Solo Force Ghost appears to, but not even the Force Ghost. I don't know what was going on.
It was just I think a memory.
Yeah, just like a memory. Han Solo presents himself to Kylo Ren. That is probably the best scene in the movie. In my opinion, that is the best scene in the movie, and it's worth the rest of the absolute swill to get to that fucking thing.
Oh
man,
dude.
I can't believe they did this like this. And then, okay, this is also something that I was really pissed off about Last Jedi, and I'm even more pissed off about in this. I don't like or understand or care why some of the characters die because they Star Wars'd too hard. Like, fucking Leia. Look, I know you had to kill her somehow, but for Maz Kanata to just be like, the woman who has showed no signs of illness or weakness of any kind has to use all her Star Wars to reach Ben, and then she will immediately perish. Why? Fucking why? I need an explanation, because this is what happened with Luke too. He's Star Wars too hard. He's Star Wars too hard.
Dude, we got to make a meme called "When you Star Wars too hard," and then you vanish.
Yeah, and then you vanish. He's Star Wars too hard. You vanish. Leia Star Wars too hard and vanishes, and then Ben at the end of the movie, Star Wars is too hard, but he doesn't even do that much, to be honest. He just Star Wars is.
Well, there's another thing I wanted to talk about now that I think about it is the whole Leia arc where she's like training with Luke and she has a vision where
that you never heard of,
you've never heard of, that she knows her son's gonna die if she becomes a Jedi, so she doesn't become a Jedi, but her son still dies.
Yeah.
Huh. JJ. You wasted when you wrote this?
Hey, JJ, why didn't you send us the script? and we could take a look at it and be like,
John Boyega sent it to me personally. I got his phone number because we talk shit about Star Wars all day on a fucking text thread.
You should have showed it to me. We should have doctored it and sent it back.
Oh shit, Boyega says he wants to call in.
Yeah. Oh, hey Boyega, what's going on, my man?
No, I didn't have anything prepared for that.
Oh, okay. I thought Boyega was actually calling in.
No.
I was really excited. But anyway, and like, look, the performances here are almost all great.
Sure.
Daisy Ridley.
I was never concerned about that or the special effects or anything.
And I think it stands, even though we've mentioned it a million times, Ian McDermott's fucking incredible in this movie. Obviously, Ian McDermott's incredible. Why wouldn't he be?
Palpatine looking really greasy.
But yeah, Palpatine looking real gross. And then sucking the power out of people, and then I was really hoping he would turn. Dude. I was really hoping he was going to turn back into like
the darker the berry, the sweeter the juice. You think he should have said that while he was sucking someone?
But then, okay, so let's talk about the dialogue in this movie, because this movie's fucking all the dialogue is so corny,
dude.
Holy shit! It feels like it was written by an 8-year-old.
Here's the thing about Star Wars, and I was explaining this to my dad. Once Disney got a hold of it, they decided that there needs to be jokes every single line. I want my Star Wars to be completely serious with the asides to Harrison Ford, who is charisma. So
yeah,
he can do little jokes.
But the thing is with Star Wars is that if you make it completely serious, then you're asking an audience to take it seriously, and I simply can't. I can't. Not this.
That's why the prequels are good, because they're completely serious politics,
and they ask
not
you
even
to
joking.
Take it seriously. Yeah,
like it's George Lucas being like, "This is completely serious politics. There's no jokes in any of these," and that's why That's why they work. There's jokes in the original trilogy because Harrison Ford is charisma.
And
charismatic.
And you know who's not charismatic? I don't think anybody in this movie. Maybe Lupita Nyong'o. I mean, I guess, with her 5 lines she had in this movie. Who's funny?
Palpatine.
Yeah, fucking Ian McDermott.
Palpatine could have done a joke, dude. like the sweeter the berry joke. He could have done that.
Yeah, but Palpatine also was just saying bad guy stuff in this movie too.
He was.
It's to the point where the worst line of the second worst line of dialogue.
Can you imagine Ian McDermott on set in front of a green screen hooked up to this fucking thing, riding this thing?
And I do imagine this, and then I also imagine him just being like, JJ, we sure about this?
Are we sure about this, JJ?
But like he just says bad guy stuff where he's like, I am the Sith. I am all the Sith.
I am every one of the Sith.
I am every one of the Sith incarnate. Second worst line of dialogue I've ever heard in a fucking movie. The first worst is
my
also
dick
in this
has
movie.
had every Sith. Every single Sith.
Yeah, I fucked every Sith, dude.
I make them jerk off in front of me like George Bush when he had to get into the Evil Bones Club or whatever.
Like Louis C.K.
Did you hear about that?
No.
To get into that what's
Harvard Society.
Yeah, the Harvard Society. What's it called? Like the some Bones Society.
Yeah.
Bones Society. George Bush had to jerk off in front of his father because his father was also in the club.
What?
Yeah.
I don't. What?
Did you read that?
And his dad was just like,
"It's part of it to get into the
fucking
fucking Evil Bones Club or whatever the fuck."
Son, I gotta see you do it.
Hazing, dude.
Christ, dude. Christ. Yeah. And then this movie ends with the Return of the Jedi ending. And it's like, whatever. They go to Endor, I guess, or whatever.
Yeah, Endor shows up, dude.
Yeah, and Ewoks are there, dude.
A lot of Ewoks.
Okay, that was the point where I'm like, oh, this is going
Made
up
my dick
a
little
star.
hard. Made my dick a little hard when I saw one of those little stinky bears.
Yeah, dude, I love that the Ewoks were there. That was a lot of fun. But then, like, you couldn't have just ended it there. You had to have fucking Lando meeting his daughter, and he's like, well, let's find out. And you're like, fuck off, man. I don't want to see any of this.
As much as I love Lando.
Yeah.
What? Do something with him.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do anything with him.
Oh, also, could somebody have a reaction to the fact that Leia died? Anybody.
Chewbacca did. He sat down and cried.
Yeah, he only sat down because that guy in the suit is old and tired.
Really? Is he old? I thought the new guy was.
Maybe they got a younger
tight,
guy.
dude.
They must have had to.
I thought he was just like a tall, tight guy. like what's that? Doug Jones. He's like a tall, tight guy like that.
He's a Jones type.
Yeah, Jones type. Not
Okay.
Jones because Jones would be too expensive to put into Chewbacca.
Now we're gonna talk about the last scene of this movie.
Yeah.
Because this is the point where, like, if the movie still had more time in it, I would have fucking left. I was so pissed. And this was the most respectful theater, and I'm going to tell you something that I did that was...
we didn't mention that fucking Rey just destroys Palpatine in like 8 seconds because she has all of the Jedis.
Oh, yeah. Also, that makes no fucking sense, and here's why. Because Palpatine's like, if you kill me, then my spirit goes into you, and you become the Sith Lord. And then she kills him, and she's good still. Yeah. She good. And I heard and I hear the argument that's like she had to pledge herself to the Sith, and it's like, give me the rules. Stop making up different rules. They make up so many rules in this movie, and when you're like, "Hey, can I get some clarification on that?" They're like, "Yeah, Star Wars.
It's Star Wars shit.
Fucking Star Wars shit." Like so.
It's a Star Wars shit.
Yeah, fucking who fucking cares? McClunky. Anyway, then she goes back to Tatooine. And, like, that's nice. Like, I loved seeing that. I'm like, oh,
I actually liked
yeah.
when she buried
she buries the lightsabers, yeah.
Buries lightsabers, Luke and Leia's lightsaber.
I like that, too. It should have ended there.
Yes.
But instead,
some random person shows up.
Some random lady who goes, nobody's been here for years. And it's like, okay, then what the fuck are you doing here?
What the fuck are you doing here?
Nobody's been around for years. So who are you? And she's like, Rey. And I'm like, cool. End it there. And I'm going to tell you about something disrespectful I did in this super respectful theater, and I feel bad about it. But it was involuntary. Just my brain just did it. And then the lady goes, what's your last name? And involuntarily, my brain goes, don't say it. Don't say it.
And then you see the fucking Force Ghost.
You see the Force Ghost. Rey looks into the camera, winks,
looks
and goes.
looks
into the camera, winks, and goes, Rey, Star Wars. Fuck you. The joke is she didn't say Star Wars. She said Rey Skywalker. Fuck you. This was supposed to be the end of the Skywalker saga. You know what that means? When they make another one in 20 years, guess who's going to be in it? Another goddamn motherfucking Skywalker that doesn't need to be in these fucking movies anymore. They killed the last one. Ben was the last one. Just let it be. Just drop it.
Let it be.
Or suck Kylo Ren's dick. Like, you have to do something.
Pull out the dick, dude.
You got to do something. Also, she just takes BB-8. Also...
Do you think they're going to do like a holy infant where she was somehow impregnated by Kylo Ren's holy ghost?
Yes, but also lamp robot that's just there to give exposition.
Oh, I loved him because every time someone tried to touch him, he was like, no, thank you. And that's me.
Yeah, that is like... This movie is
No, thank you. No, thank you.
I'm sorry. I didn't actually mean to touch you. This movie is like entertaining to watch, but not for the reason JJ thinks it is.
Dude, I was just like, I was baffled for a large part of the runtime.
Like, I was just so blown away that they were making the choices that they were made that I was like, I have to see what next insane choice they're going to make.
Then like every 17 minutes, Babu Frick would show up and be like, Babu Frick.
I'm Babu Frick. And that I did like. And there's
I was just like laugh. I was just like cackling because it was this movie's so insane, dude. Horses on starships, dude.
I will look. Here's the thing. I don't say this about a Star Wars movie lightly, but I
shut down their speeders. I can't shut them down. They're not speeders. And then it pans to horses on a starship.
Yeah. Oh, also, as soon as Kylo Ren is like, I'm not a bad guy anymore, the movie looks around as if to go, oh, fuck, just grab one of the extras, make him the bad guy. We have to have a bad guy.
Yeah, our boy, what's that guy's name?
Fuck, I don't remember, but he's good. But he's also just in this just to be a bad guy.
And then I saw him in something else like right after.
Right after?
Yeah.
I don't understand that at all. It's like the opposite of like, what is his name? Like the CG guy from Rogue One.
Oh,
Toffin.
Grand Moff Tarkin.
Yeah, Grand
Moff Tarkin.
Grand Moff Tarkin. Yeah, it's like the opposite of that, where like Grand Moff Tarkin is like fucking in the series forever and ever and ever, and when he becomes the villain, it makes sense. But in this, they just plucked a guy out of the crowd. Yeah. Like Kylo Ren.
Dude, it was Richard E. Grant.
Is that
joke? It was Richard E. Grant.
It was Richard E. Grant from fucking. Can You Ever Forgive Me?
Yeah.
Fuck. They like it seriously felt like Kylo Ren is like, if I ever decide to be good, I'm gonna close my eyes here. Eeny, meeny, miny, that guy in the back. What's your name? Yeah, we haven't seen you in the series yet, so you're the new bad guy. Nobody's seen you. You weren't in Last Jedi. You weren't in Force Awakens. Congratulations, you're the new bad guy. Oh my god. I'm remembering so much shit about this movie too. Also, the Knights of Ren, do something with that.
Oh yeah, you get the Knights of Ren, which people have been clamoring for 3 movies.
Talk about it for 2 movies. Finally, you got them in here, and they do
nothing.
Nothing.
He fights them in 5 seconds.
He fights them and he kills them all.
They
because
try
he's
and
got
track somebody, but they don't do it.
Yeah, but they don't do it right. But then also, let's talk about our boy Donald Gleason in this movie.
Oh, Donald.
Because there's a spy in the First Order.
Right, because they had to make it easy for them to get information. So they're like, let's just have a spy.
Let's just have a spy, just like in New Hope. Who gives a shit? And so then, at one point, they're like about to be murdered, and then fucking Hux comes in and he shoots the guys who are going to murder them.
Yeah.
And then he turns around.
And he's like, I'm the spy.
And like the thing is like that feels like a paraphrase. It's not. That's the actual line. He grins like an asshole and goes, I'm the spy. JJ, write a movie. Christ.
And they're like, well, you're the spy. Do you want to come with us? And he's like, I don't want to fucking come with you. I just don't want fucking Kylo to win.
He's like, I don't care if you win. And it's like, okay, so this plot point means nothing. Gotcha. Moving on. Moving
He's
on.
like, I don't even give a shit about helping you at all. I just want Kylo Ren to lose. And then he gets immediately gunned down.
By Richard E. Grant.
Fucking awesome.
That part is actually pretty tight. This is a 2-star movie. It's as good as Last Jedi.
Yeah.
But as far as like Star Wars movies go, this is the problem with this movie, is that now that I know that this was JJ's vision from the start, it actually cheapens Force Awakens.
Yeah, it makes it worse, right?
Yeah, it does. It makes it a little bit worse. It cheapens it because you're like, oh, okay, I like Force Awakens.
I like Force Awakens too, but
the reason
I never
it's good,
liked it as much as you did.
The reason Force Awakens is good is because it feels like they're going somewhere.
Yeah,
with
it
that.
feels like they set up a lot of good stuff, and then they absolutely
shit on it
never
all.
use even a second of that content. You see that timer right there? 47 fucking minutes, bud.
2 stars. 2 stars on the Chatsky scale.
Just like I said.
What do you
skip ahead 47 minutes?
What are you gonna give this bad boy?
2 stars.
2 stars.
I think there's, it's definitely a way to end it. Not the way I would have done it.
It's a conclusion, which is.
But I'm just kind of happy that I don't have to see any more Star Wars shit for a while.
Yeah, there's 3 years now. It's bad for viewership, but good for my well-being.
Yeah.
I can't do this anymore. I honestly can't do this anymore. And that's so sad because I've always thought of myself as such a big Star Wars fan. And the last few years has just destroyed it for me. Mm-hmm. It's just destroyed. Oh no, Disney destroyed my childhood.
Oh, you gonna cry about it, you little baby?
I'm gonna fucking Joaquin Phoenix. Seriously though, Star Wars, I don't want to see it anymore. And you know what? After 3 years, maybe I will bring it back into my life and remember it as an old friend. Maybe in 3 years. But for right now, It's not for me. Now, thankfully, Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker did not hit my bottom 10 of the year, which is what we're going to do now. Top 10 worst movies of the year for each of us.
Uh-huh.
The thing is that I actually had a tough time. There was a lot of mediocre movies this year.
Yeah,
but
I agree. A
nothing,
lot of 2 stars.
Yeah, nothing like completely garbage. Like, I mean, there was some because I have 10 here, and they are bad. They are all very fucking bad. And I just felt kind of relieved that it was so, because it's very difficult for me to make my top 10 of the year, and I've been trying to do that lately, and been having a really, really hard time with it. But do you have your list ready, or you still need another minute? Or
I think I'm good to go.
All right, awesome. So I'm going to start us off. My number 10 worst movie of 2019. Oh, man, I'm sorry, F. Gary Gray. I don't want to put you on a list, man. I super do not. You're a great director, but you can't just make Men in Black International.
Oh, yeah, that was a bad one.
You can't just make that movie and think I'm not going to be pissed off about it. Men in Black International is so bad because it's 0% jokes, except for Kumail Nanjiani, who's not funny. He's the only one making jokes, and he's not funny.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, and that's the unfortunate part. So, number 10, Men in Black International. What's your number 10?
Absolutely. So my number 10, on this show, an amazing thing happened this year.
Yeah.
We've had some directors that have sent in some movies, and specifically a young filmmaker who released 2 films this year.
Could you perhaps be talking about Nicholas Michael Jacobs?
I sure am.
Oh shit!
I sure am talking about Nicholas Michael Jacobs, and I love that he sends us his movies. Unfortunately, they are some of the worst pieces of shit I've ever seen.
I refused to watch the second one.
You actually did not watch this one. That I have as my in my number 10 spot, called Urban Fears. Now, I reviewed this on the podcast. You can go back and listen to it. He really appreciated our review of it.
Did he really?
Yeah,
he
of course, of course.
Shit.
Any exposure is good exposure, as they say.
Hell yeah.
And this is it is slightly better than his other movie, Night, that he made, if you recall that one.
I do recall it. I remember it.
Which we might be talking about a little later. But it's still nearly unwatchable. It's about like a killer doll that runs through and slashes people. You can go back and listen to the review. That's my number 10. What's your number 9 there, Chadley?
My number 9 is going to be a movie that we watched in Spookytober. It was actually my pick, and I feel just so sorry for having picked it. Octavia Spencer in Ma.
Ooh, you're getting Ma on the list.
Dude, I fucking hate that. And you know what? I don't think anyone hates this movie quite the way I do.
No.
But I
do. I didn't think it was good, but you adamantly hate this movie.
Dude, I super, super hate this movie. It's absolute dog shit. What's your number 9?
My number 9, my least favorite genre of film right now, explainer movies.
Oh, no.
So,
I know where this
our
is going.
boy, you know him as the lord of retiring and making a movie every year since then. Soderbergh. The Laundromat. This is an unspeakable piece of fucking trash.
It's filth, dude. It's absolute
that
filth.
if you liked this, you have such a tiny baby brain that I can't even imagine someone watching this and being like, this is good.
Hey, listeners of the podcast, would you like this podcast better if it was just the YouTube video, which you should all be subscribed to?
Absolutely.
Was just us looking directly into the camera and explaining why movies are good and bad and having no jokes? Would you like that? Because that's what the Laundromat is. No jokes and just explaining the Panama Papers
That's what Vice is.
And doing it badly. My number 8. This is a movie we watched, I think last month or so. A24. I'm so sorry, A24.
A24 hitting the bottom.
Hate to get you on there, A24. But the horse fucking movie.
Oh yeah,
the death of Dick Long.
That one did, as you can see, just barely missed my list.
Oh, there it is. Death of Dick Long.
Just barely missed it.
Yo. You can't make a movie with complete seriousness, like a satire about dudes that fuck horses, and then just pretend like that's not what you made a movie about.
Yeah, right.
That's insane. So that's my number 8, The Death of Dick Long.
My number 8, serendipitously with its title, QT8. I don't usually put documentaries on this list, but that is such a fucking piece of shit made for TV sucking Quentin Tarantino dick's piece of. I can't believe I was paid to review that movie. I can't believe that.
I can't believe I accepted the pay.
Well, I always accept pay, but it is crazy that someone thought they could send that to me and I would like it.
Yeah,
good.
That's true. It is a bad movie. I agree with that one a lot. Number 7. Oh boy. Blockbuster season was rough this year because it gave us the wonderful, wonderful film that is Dora and the Lost City of Gold.
Yep.
Oh my God.
That's a bunt.
I can't believe how many times Dora the Explorer used the word poo hole. I can't believe it. Yeah, that movie is absolute shit.
My number 7, the most racist movie of the year that no one seemed to care about because no one went to see it. Cold Pursuit with Liam Neeson.
Oh, yeah. I think, because I remember
impossibly racist.
You and I saw that the week it came out in a pretty empty theater, and we saw it in
it got if this came out and it had Ryan Reynolds in it or something, he would be canceled.
Yeah, yeah, he'd be
done.
But
this just happened to be a movie that no one saw, and almost no one cares about Native American racism.
Yeah,
at
and
all.
It's Liam Neeson looking directly into the camera and being like, haha, gambling. That's what it is.
These fucking stinky natives is what he was saying, basically.
Alcoholics.
There's a point where he looks at a guy and he's like, he should be drinking Listerine. And you're like, what the fuck is this movie?
Yeah. And you know what? I don't even think it's... I absolutely also think that it's Liam Neeson's fault because while on the fucking trail for this movie doing interviews, he was like, I wanted to kill a black bastard.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Fucking Liam Neeson. Don't be racist, guys. Don't be racist, for
really
sure.
Crazy. I really hate that movie.
Number 6. You know how we watch a lot of movies that are just about Newton?
Yeah.
Yeah, this movie's about Newton. This is Wine Country.
Amy
Poehler's Netflix directorial debut.
That definitely could have made my list because it's about Newton.
It's about Newton, but you forgot about it. I'm sure that's why it didn't make your list because you forgot about it.
Well, it's a little better than Hellboy, so.
Yeah.
And Sextuplets, which is right there.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Wine Country is about 6 women who go to Napa. Hellboy, which by the way was my number 11, and I had to bounce it.
There you go.
The 6 women go to Napa Valley to deal with their problems, but don't worry, none of their problems are interesting, nor are they even addressed. So enjoy that. Fucking piece of shit.
Now, every year we do the Christmas episode, and boy, does those come in hot with some half stars.
Yeah, absolutely.
This year, not 1 but 2 movies we watched on that episode will be in my list.
Oh, me too.
But so my number, what is it? 5, 6?
6.
6 was Noel, starring Bill Hader and Anna Kendrick.
Yeah, what a pile of junk, dude. Dude, I can't believe they put that CG into a movie and was like, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, it's all good.
My number 5, man, I really don't want to disparage the Calgary Underground Film Festival, but every now and again, they let a real shitty one. Actually, I think there was a Cuff movie in my bottom 10 last year, too, is that Weed the People.
Yeah. Different thing, though.
Yeah, that was Cuff Docs. But this was actually from the Calgary Underground Film Festival. Guys, we love you so much. We're going to be doing coverage of your festival again this year, probably. But what the fuck with Assassin Not?
Yep, that's a bunt.
What
that is
the
a bunt.
actual fuck? Why did you program such a heinous pile of garbage?
Yeah.
Assassin Not's my number 5 worst movie of the year.
So my number 5 is a bunt from Before Adora and The Lost City of Gold. Absolutely fucking...
Swill.
I loathe this. It's absolutely unwatchable garbage.
My number 4, here it comes, boys, a Christmassy movie.
Yeah.
A sure big Christmassy movie going on over to Africa to hang out with some elephants. Holiday in the Wild.
Are you saying your number 4 is Holiday in the Wild?
My number 4 is Holiday in the Wild.
It's official.
It's
a movie epidemic official. The 4th worst movie of the year is Holiday in the Wild.
Holiday in the Wild, baby. Which brings me to my number 3. This is a bunt, Noel. I can't believe they put that fucking CG reindeer in a movie and made me look at it. Disney, a $10 billion company, put that CG fucking reindeer in a movie and made me look at it.
That was one of their launch titles.
A launch title. There's also a new one now. There's a third one.
Togo?
Yeah.
With
Willem Dafoe.
With Willem Dafoe. I was almost going to make you watch that, but I'm like, it's going to look like shit.
Here's the thing. I know it's going to look like shit, and I know it's going to be bad, but I also know Willem Dafoe is going to give the best performance of the year.
Absolutely. He might be making my top 10 of the year. So.
He is going to make my top 1. As always, he's been my top 1 the last 4 years in a row.
My number 3, a movie you forced me to watch, and I almost came to your house and murdered you in your sleep. The Velocipaster.
Oh, shit. I forgot about the Velocipaster.
Not even movie. So
Not even real movie. Dude.
Not even movie.
Is it more of a movie than that Sturgill Simpson album?
Maybe.
Is it more of a movie than that?
You're getting off easy watching a Sturgill Simpson movie for fucking
41 minutes
instead of watching fucking Frozen 2.
Oh, I put that on the roster. We're going to be watching
All right, we're watching Frozen 2.
Apparently, we're watching Frozen 2 at some point. My number 2, we already talked about it, the most racist, the number 1 fuckboy, Liam Neeson. This is Cold Pursuit, number 2.
Yes, you had it up there, hey?
Fuck, I hated it.
really bad,
It's so racist and awful. So wait, hold on. Before you say your number 1.
No, I haven't said my number 2
Oh,
yet.
right.
Assassin. No, that's a bunt from earlier.
Yeah, that's an absolute bunt. Calgary Underground Film Festival, please do not. So before you say your number 1, I know what my number 1 is.
Yeah.
And I haven't looked at your list, but I'm going to assume it's the same movie.
Is it? Well, once again, a little man who slipped into our inbox
Yup.
by the name of Nicholas Michael Jacobs not only takes my 10 spot, but he also takes my number 1 spot with his first film of his 2 films of the year. Night, which is the most abhorrent thing I've ever seen.
It is also my number 1 worst movie of the year. Night, Nicholas Michael Jacobs.
It's official.
The worst
movie
Holy
of
shit.
2019. Our boy, Nicholas Michael Jacobs, a loyal listener to the show.
I'm sure he's listening right now. Don't ever do this to me again. Don't send me your movie.
No,
dude.
him.
Because it is funny. It is very funny. But this is the worst movie I've ever seen. Look, and I've seen Birdemic, The Room, fucking Troll 2, all this shit, fucking, what was that one? Mr. Jingles, fucking
Dark Souls,
Meowie Christmas. I've seen so much garbage, my guy, and you have somehow come out of the woodwork to create the worst fucking movie I've ever seen.
It's almost legendary how bad it is.
And I log my movies. I've seen over 5,000 movies. And this is the worst one by a lot.
It's like to me, this is an honor.
Yeah. To be fair, I'm sure he's pinning a fucking medal on his own jacket right now,
dude. Because I covet a lot of the worst movies of all time more so than some of the best movies I've ever seen. So
yeah, that's true.
This is a movie I will be thinking about for a long time because it scarred me so much.
Yeah, it did hurt me, dude. It's like 80 minutes, and I think I watched it in like
65, according to that.
65 minutes. I think I watched it in 4 sittings. Piece of shit. Oh boy!
Congrats,
oh boy.
Nicholas Michael Jacobs. You cleaned up at the worst of the year. God bless you, dude.
Yeah, and you know what? The worst thing about it is that I think we're gonna be the only ones talking about it.
But now this will get people to watch it.
Yeah.
That's what our show does. We illuminate the things that people should be watching.
It's funny to watch. Yeah. It's funny to see, for sure.
Oh, it's the entertainment value is there.
It's through the roof.
Certainly. It's like that's the Uwe Ball thing, right? Like your movie can be.
It just can't be boring.
It can be shocking.
It can be offensive.
It can be offensive, but it can't be boring.
But this movie is boring and shocking and offensive.
Whoops.
Whoops. All three. The trifecta. Nicholas Michael Jacobs should go to the Uwe Ball School of Film.
I think he has. I think he's a graduate. Anyway, let's get off Michael Jacobs.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Mr. Michael Jacobs. You're a good man. Thank you for
3 names. So many names.
Yeah. 3 first names. Please don't have that name.
Well, that's the bottom 10.
That's the bottom 10 of the year.
We're gonna be having a lot more lists coming up, I'm sure.
Yeah,
as we roll into Oscar season.
And you know what, you guys? As we head into the Oscar freeway, I have some great news for you.
What's that?
At the beginning of this year, the Academy voted to change the date of the Oscars from late February to early February. So you know what that means, right?
God bless them.
It's a short freeway. It's a short freeway because I know we've
also seen everything that's going to get nommed. So
yeah. Except I haven't seen that Once Upon a Time in Hollywood yet, but I'll probably watch that tonight. I'll probably watch it tonight.
This guy didn't see the 3-hour Tarantino movie.
I did not.
God damn, dude.
Did not. But I'm sure I'll watch it before the Oscars because I'm sure it's gonna be nominated for Best Picture and it'll be like the farthest one from winning for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It'll get the least amount of votes.
Oh yeah.
But you know what? Not only will get a ton of votes, but may even win the 2 popes.
Oh yeah.
You want to talk about the 2 popes?
Yeah, I guess.
So Netflix released this movie, and it's Oscar fucking glazed, dude.
Yeah, dude.
This is an Oscar glazed work of something. And I see a lot of people clamoring for this movie because it's got intriguing dialogue and great performances.
Sure.
Jonathan Pryce and Hopkins.
Jonathan Pryce absolutely nailing this motherfucker. Dude.
Yeah, Jonathan Pryce.
Jonathan Pryce is literally unreal. I like Hopkins too, but
yeah,
Jonathan
Pryce going fucking 10,000.
Holy shit!
Dude, that dude looks like Pope Francis.
He does. Yeah, he does.
But, and this is a really big but, the movie itself is fucking terrible.
Dude.
Oh my God. I was so pissed off watching this movie.
This is the same rage that I get when I watch explainer movies because this almost is an explainer. They show the news and they're like, remember the news? Remember what happened in the news?
Yeah, I do remember what happened in the news.
Remember when this happened and he got elected Pope after 4 days? Remember in the news? And you're like...
and that's the first 20 minutes is him being elected Pope.
Okay.
So this... man, this movie... Oh, boy. This is... what this movie is about, okay, I'm going to put it in layman's terms, and some people may disagree with me about what this movie is about, is that this movie decides that it wants to make you feel sad for the Pope.
Right.
Because he has to deal with the backlash of himself allowing thousands of children to be molested. And, like, there was even, like, a point, I had an argument with somebody because I was so pissed off that they had liked this movie, and I was like, let me tell you why this movie is not good. And... and it was written by the same guy who wrote Bohemian Rhapsody and Darkest Hour. This all makes sense. It all makes sense now. Yep. They're like, I said I don't like this movie because there's no repercussion for the fact that the Pope came out and said, yes, I purposely covered up thousands of child molestations. And my brother, I almost said who it was. The person who I was talking to, oops, it was my brother. He was like, no, there was a repercussion. There was that scene later in the movie where he was like, I've lost the voice of God. And that's his repercussion. And I'm like, not good enough. Not fucking good enough for me.
Hey, you know what's interesting? Catholics love
Fuck, it's propaganda. Oh.
Catholics love to like tell people what to do, yet when their own people should go to fucking prison, they're like, nah, they're just doing their own thing because of God. And you're like, well, that's not cool. It doesn't work for you. That doesn't work. It is truly disgusting conservative propaganda.
It is. It's absolutely disgusting. But here's the thing: is that disgusting conservative propaganda? Let's talk about the other side of the spectrum. Disgusting liberal propaganda, like Laundromat, Vice, or Vice, or Big Short. At least those movies are kind of interesting. At least,
and I think the difference between The Big Short and The Two Popes is The Big Short at least
is funny.
No. It profiles the shitty stuff that the left did, in their movies, and the right. This one, they're like, our new guy's cool. He hasn't fucked any kids. Our new guy's super cool. Okay, you see how cool this new guy is?
Doesn't fuck kids.
Jonathan Pryce, he definitely doesn't fuck. He's definitely never fucked a kid.
And that is the problem too. Is that the number one reason you're supposed to like Jonathan Pryce is because he's never fucked a kid. They're like he's okay-ish with gays. Yeah,
he's kind of okay with them. He fucked once before. He had a wife and shit. And you're like, he's kind of cool. And it's like, our guy's cool, right? Our guy's cool now. And it's like, no, they all fuck kids though.
Yeah, he's still letting shit. And here's the thing: is that the whole point of this movie is that Pope Francis is a good person and Pope Benedict is a bad person. And okay,
sure.
there it is. Sure, yes, Pope Benedict.
Yeah,
Pope
sure.
Benedict literally looks like Satan, and Pope Francis looks like my granddad, maybe.
Your Argentinian granddad.
Yeah, my Argentinian granddad. And yes, but also there's like a point in this movie where Pope Francis is talking about like homosexuality, and he's making like all these like positive
real
points.
Roundabout stuff.
Yeah,
though.
yeah, he's pointing out positives, and then he just slips it in there. He'll be like, we as a church, we need to be moving forward. We need to be advancing. We hate the gays. We also need to make sure that like we're really listening to people. Gays are bad, but we got to make sure that people understand that we're connecting with them. We hate gays. And I'm like, you can't give me a hero and then casually drop how much he hates gays and still me as a viewer be like, I still like this character.
He doesn't fuck kids though.
This movie makes me fucking Rise of Skywalker is a fucking masterpiece.
No, but one thing that I do love about this movie is that it gave us one of the funniest scenes I've ever seen. Is fucking Anthony Hopkins dressed up in a Pope uniform, just eating a fucking piece of pizza like he's a wild hog.
Yeah, dude, that was pretty wild.
That's one of the funniest scenes. That might hit my top 5 scenes of the year, to be honest, because it is so wild.
Yeah, absolutely.
He looks like a fucking gremlin these days.
He's engulfing it, dude.
Do you follow him on Twitter?
Sure don't.
On that he just posts shit where he's like, just shit like that.
Is Pope Benedict Welsh? Because Anthony Hopkins was just
he's
doing
German.
Welsh. Yeah, he was just doing Welsh, I'm pretty sure. But I could be wrong. But either way, he's still good.
Yeah, of course.
Still, Jonathan Pryce murdering, but we've already established that. So now here's my biggest problem with this whole movie is like, if you're gonna make this movie like this, okay, sure, it's conservative Christian propaganda, Catholic propaganda. It's basically like, hey guys, remember Catholicism? Like we were all real good, and then the rape thing happened, and now you guys don't like us anymore. But the rape thing made us sad too.
Yeah, we were sad about it, and our new guy doesn't.
Okay, well you did it. Okay, well you did it. All right, so you're the ones who did it. So I don't feel bad for you. But then I think that this kind of movie can work, but you can't make it boring. This is the UV bullshit because this movie is.
This is the UV bullshit.
This is UV. You know what this movie reminds me of? This movie reminds me of. Do you remember a few years back there was that movie Lincoln that Steven Spielberg did?
Sure, seen Lincoln.
Here's why it reminds me of that, because it's just old dudes talking in rooms.
Talking in rooms. Yep.
They're just old dudes talking in rooms, and every now and again they change the room they're talking in,
which is fine.
But they're still just old dudes talking in the room.
And they do that weird thing where like they have like it's on like a steady cam.
Yeah,
and it's like, why is this a found footage movie? Like, who gives a shit?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why they did that. I think they wanted to make it look kind of like a documentary.
You know what's the absolute best thing about this movie? In the last 5 seconds when they have that orchestral version of Blackbird. Holy shit, is that good?
Yeah, I also like that they use like the soundtrack for this is not bad.
It's pretty good actually.
They use ABBA and then the Blackbird orchestral. That's pretty good. But then there's a big reason I don't like this movie, because when I'm watching this movie, I feel icky and gross because a lot of the movie is tiptoeing around the sexual misconduct, and you're like, come on, you're sitting there, me as a person, I'm sitting there, I'm like, come on, you can't. If you're gonna make a movie about Pope Benedict, this is the thing you lean in on, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is the thing you lean in on, and you're waiting for it, and you're like, come on, admit it, you sick fucker. Like, I want to hear you talk it, because I knew that Pope Benedict had done this with the thousands of child molestations that he covered up, and I knew he had done this, so I'm like waiting for it. Finally, it happens. The scene happens, and I'm like, yeah, we're gonna fucking nail this son of a bitch. And Pope Francis looks him in the eyes and goes, God is forgiving. God forgives you. And I'm like, whoa, what the actual fuck? What the actual fuck are you talking about? No, he doesn't. Why? What? No. That's awful. And then guess what? Then they become best buddies and they drink beers and watch soccer together.
Yeah, they watch a lot of soccer.
Fuck.
A lot of footy, dude.
Fuck right off with that. Like, I don't think, because he's like, the whole point is you're supposed to feel bad for Anthony Hopkins' character because he feels bad for letting thousands of children be molested.
He covered up, though.
Yeah, he covered it up and he let it happen and he feels bad about it, and you're supposed to be like, oh, he feels bad about it. Oh, well, okay, well, maybe Catholics aren't so
He's just a cute
bad.
old German man. Oh.
No, all right, no, go to jail. Go to fucking prison.
Do not pass go. Do not collect $200.
$200. That is the point where I was like, this is absolutely disgusting. I just think that forgiveness is not the correct theme for a movie about a guy who covered up so much sexual misconduct, especially when, let's make this as perfectly clear as possible, the victims were children. Fuck you, guys. Fuck you, whoever made this movie, because this is atrocious.
Yeah, and what was very funny was last night on the news on New Year's at the Rome at the Vatican New Year's.
Oh yeah, what happened there?
There was some lady that was like, the Pope was like walking through his constituents, right, and like Pope Francis was like touching everybody, and then this lady like grabs his hand. And like she was like, trying to get like a blessing or something, and then he just does it. Put out your hand. Like he does this. He does just like keeps slapping her to make her let go. What? Pope Francis, because she was like holding on to him, so he was doing like this shit to her hand.
It's very funny. That's very, very funny. I'm also glad that made the news. I don't think it's newsworthy, but I think it's funny.
He slapped that woman.
He slapped her. He slapped a woman. Yeah. And this is a great looking movie. Like, if we're being clear, I mean, like the Sicilian.
It's kind of weird. But I think because it has like that handy cam kind of feel, it does make it more intimate. And to be fair, the performances are fucking incredible.
Yeah.
Which is the only thing I really like about it. The rest of it's fucking abhorrent.
Yeah. So the writer of this movie should be like honestly ashamed of himself for making it like this, because like it feels like this is my big problem with this movie, is that it feels like it does want to tackle the issues.
Yeah.
But it's so worried.
But it wants to play it safe.
It doesn't want to say anything negative about the Catholic Church, nothing at all. So it doesn't. And I'm like, you have to address these things. You have to. You can't make this movie and not address these problems. And they're like, no. Because like as soon as you do that, as soon as you take out the things that you have to address, the problems that you have to address that they've decided not to in this movie, it's not a movie about anything.
Yeah.
It just becomes about absolutely nothing. It's so boring. And nobody has anything to say until they do, and they brush past it so fast. And they basically look you, the audience member, in the eye and are like, forgive us. Forgive us our trespasses.
Come back to the church.
The Lord would want you to forgive us.
I'm actually
like
kind of shocked that Netflix even bought this.
Yeah,
to be honest.
Yeah, me too. I mean, didn't it win Cannes?
Maybe.
Yeah, won something.
I don't know.
Maybe it was Sundance. So maybe it won something.
I don't think it was Cannes.
No, I think Cannes was something else. I'm trying to think of what it was.
Parasite, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was Parasite. I think you're right. Yeah. So 1 star, two popes. It's not completely unwatchable, but it is pretty close to being unwatchable.
1 star.
1 star on the Chadsky. Hate it. Absolutely hate it. Want to talk about our director of the week?
Sure.
Director of the month?
So let's talk about this for a minute. Your first pick in the director's draft was Wes Anderson for January. What was your reasoning behind this pick?
The reason was because I knew that we were going to do the animated episode, and I wanted to make sure we had something for that.
Right.
Yeah. And so, as Wes Anderson has made a couple of animated movies, we can pop one of them in there.
Absolutely.
Probably Fantastic Mr. Fox. But also, there was a few Wes Anderson movies that I just had never seen, so I sort of wanted to just get caught up on them, and one of those movies was Rushmore. I'd never seen that.
What's the other ones you haven't seen?
I've never seen Tenenbaums. I think that's it though. I've not seen this. I haven't seen Tenenbaums, but I think I've seen the rest of them. I think I've seen the rest of Wes Anderson, and I just wanted to get caught up. And so Rushmore was one of the ones I had never seen, and I'm utterly ashamed because this movie's fucking amazing,
fucking flawless, dude. I fucking love this movie so much.
It's so good. Probably the hardest I've ever laughed in a movie is when Bill Murray and Jason Schwartzman first meet, and he goes, "Hey, you were in Vietnam, were you not?" And he goes, "Yes, I was." And he goes,
"Were you in the shit?
Were you in the shit?" "Yeah, I was in the shit."
Dude, that's fucking also Hardner's favorite line in any Wes Anderson movie.
I think my favorite line in any Wes Anderson movie is a line from the movie we'll be not watching next week, Darjeeling Limited. I didn't save
mine yet.
I didn't save mine.
Those are the two best ones.
But Rushmore is this movie about this kid who is so good at manipulating people.
Yeah.
That
he's the like definition of a fake it till you make it guy.
Yeah, he's so good at manipulating people that he's not smart or interesting, but he runs all these clubs.
Yeah.
And then one day he decides that he wants to shift his aspirations to fucking a teacher and challenge himself. Because he can manipulate anyone else, but he wants to fuck a teacher.
Yeah.
But Bill Murray, who's his best friend for some reason, also wants to fuck the teacher.
Because Bill Murray sees like a little bit of himself in him.
Yeah.
Like because like he's clearly a kid that is not good at anything, but is faking it very well.
Yeah, and Bill Murray is
and
exactly
he sees
the
that,
same.
and he's like, I wish my kids were like that. Because his kids are like the jocks.
Yeah.
So funny, dude.
Yeah. Which is so funny because his kids are very successful at what they do, and he has absolutely no pride.
Doesn't care about them at all.
No pride in that in any way. But let's talk about what really makes this thing work, and that is Jason Schwartzman.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Playing a 15-year-old, even though it looks 30 as hell.
Yeah, that's what I said too, dude. He looks fucking 30. He's so funny in this movie. Like everything he says.
And this is like, if you watch, have you seen Bottle Rocket?
No, I actually haven't. That's one I've not seen.
Bottle Rocket is like funny and dry, but it's not until you get someone very good at being funny and dry, like a Jason Schwartzman, that you're like, oh, this Wes Anderson scripts work so fucking well with Bill Murray and Jason Schwartzman. They're just like so good at being funny dry.
Yeah, and like this movie just has so many memorable parts, like the part where the kid throws rocks at him, and he's like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "Did you tell everyone that my mom gave you a hand job?"
It's so funny too, and it's like it's not even in like 3 acts. It's in like
7.
It's in like sections.
Yeah.
Like Wes Anderson loves to play with format, so this is like very early. This is like his second movie, so it's very early on in his experiment with format.
Well, you know what I notice about this movie, and it's honestly one of my favorite things about it, is that this movie is 90 minutes.
Yeah, exactly.
And there's so much shit in this movie. Like, so much happens. Like, it's so dense. Like, it's as dense as Forrest Gump and an hour and a half shorter.
Yeah, it has more to say, too.
And, like, as I'm watching this, I'm like, how does Wes Anderson fucking pace his movies so well that he can get this much into 90 minutes? And there it is, you guys. There it is right there. You don't got to make your movies 2 hours and 15 minutes, okay? You can, but don't, all right? But don't. You can make them fucking 90 minutes. You didn't have to make a movie about the two popes 2 hours and 5 minutes. All right.
But Adam Sandler cutting gems, maybe that can be 2:15.
Yeah, that can be as long as it wants. We'll talk about Uncut Gems in a little bit. But yeah, like this movie, it's also like it's got that Wes Anderson charm, but it's clearly so early Wes Anderson.
It is early, so it doesn't quite have the aesthetic.
Yeah, not quite. Yeah.
But it definitely has like the quirky feel of his other movies.
And
it does feel like a Wes Anderson.
And the soundtrack is
soundtrack for sure. The soundtrack is I think that's where he started more than just the aesthetic. Is like the kind of just the way his movies sound. Like with dialogue and with the soundtrack.
Well, and the way that people say dialogue as well, like the pauses that people have, it's unlike any other movie, and honestly, like any way that people would speak.
But that like gives emphasis to the weird things of conversation that you wouldn't normally hear.
Yeah.
And to me, that is why Wes Anderson is such a good writer.
I agree. I think Wes is great. That's why I picked him. I love him.
Absolutely. This movie written with his roommate, Owen Wilson.
That is absolutely correct. Owen Wilson wrote this movie, and then Luke Wilson was in it.
Owen Wilson's in it too for 1 second.
Is he?
At the end, yeah. He's at like the table at the end.
Oh, I didn't notice Owen Wilson there. I did not notice him there.
He does a little cameo.
Yeah, but Luke Wilson is like also super funny in this movie.
Yeah, Luke Wilson is great too.
There's like the amazing scene where the teacher brings her boyfriend to dinner with Jason Schwartzman, and he's like turning to the waiter. He's like, I'd like to thank you for accommodating us. It was supposed to be 3 people, but somebody invited themselves along. And Bill Murray's just sitting there, just like taking it in. It's so funny. Fuck, this movie. I'm so glad that I watched it. It's an absolute stunning masterpiece.
Well, it's so funny, like just like the antics that he gets up into, where he's like, "We need to build an aquarium." It's like, why? And then there's a point where like she's like, "I heard you were trying to build me an aquarium. Why did you do that?" And he's like, "I don't know where you heard that. I don't know what that's about."
Even though he was definitely doing it.
Yeah, and then like the play at the end, dude. That's one of the funniest fucking things in the world.
The Vietnam play.
Yeah,
that's awesome. But I feel like if I actually saw that play, I'd be like, "Holy fuck, that was dope."
Dude, I turned to the person I was watching this with, and I'm like, "That is better than most Broadway plays I've seen, like quality wise."
Hell yeah, dude. I also like the scene where he's just shooting the Scottish kid with a BB gun from a window.
It's just so funny. It's like it's one of those like perfect little movies from the late 90s.
And it's 90 minutes. So like if you're like, "Oh, I don't know if I want to take the time." Absolutely take the time, cuz it's so funny. There's so many moments where
it's like honestly it's Bill Murray at his absolute peak too.
Yeah, absolutely. So. Bill Murray is. Here's the thing. I was watching this movie. I was like, man, Bill Murray already looks on death's door in this movie. And this was 21 years ago.
Yeah,
that's insane. I love this movie. I am so happy I finally saw it. I knew that I was gonna love it.
It's the West Collection, baby.
It's the West Collection, dude. This is a
5 stars,
dude.
5
star.
5 stars.
5 star on the Chadsky scale. Hey, speaking of 5 stars,
yeah,
I want to talk about the Safdie brothers.
Oh yes.
Oh my god!
I watched it twice, dude. I watched it.
Did
twice.
you actually watch it twice?
I watched it twice.
I
watched it once when I was on vacation. I watched it yesterday.
I watched it this morning. So of course we're talking about the new movie from the Safdie brothers. This movie is called Uncut Gems, and guys, we're just going to give it away right off the top here. This movie is fucking amazing.
Fucking Oscar for Sandman, dude. The prosthetic teeth doing the work.
Adam Sandler is in this movie going harder than you could possibly, than you probably know he can go. He's better in this than he is in Punch Drunk Love.
Yeah, this is his best movie far and away.
This is the
absolutely
best movie
the best thing that Adam Sandler has ever done.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, not even a question in my mind.
Yeah, no, not at all. Not at all. This movie, it's so pure and wonderful and wacky and heart-wrenching and difficult and...
Exactly everything I want to be challenged by in a film is in this fucking film.
Here's the thing, is that this movie is about a guy who's so down on his luck that every time you're like, oh, here we go.
He's up. Every time he's up,
it's like, here's 7 things to kick the shit out of him. Yeah. Oh man! So what this movie is about is that this guy he owes like a family member. I think it was like his brother-in-law.
Yeah.
He owes his brother-in-law $100,000 in gambling debt, and he's ordered this. He's a jeweler, and he's ordered an opal, like a pure raw opal that he's going to sell at auction to make this money to give to his brother-in-law. And like. That seems so simple, yet everything that could
because
possibly
it just spirals out of control so fast. Like you get Kevin Garnett, the basketball players, in
this, playing himself,
great in it actually. But like you have Kevin Garnett show up, and he and by complete accident, right? Because his buddy just lets him into the store, right? So by complete accident, you have Kevin Garnett like finding the opal, and he just wanted to show it to him to impress him, and he's like, "Oh shit." Yeah, that's my luck, good luck charm. and he basically does a trade where he's like, you bring it back tomorrow because I have to sell this shit.
Yeah.
And from there, it completely spirals out of control for 2 hours, and you're like, I don't know what the fuck is going to happen next.
Yeah, and every time, and like what I love so much about this movie is every 20 minutes they give you this moment where you're like, that's it. That's
He's
the
done
end. He's done it. He's figured it out. And then something happens and you're like, oh, no, he's more fucked.
That's the
now.
worst choice you could have possibly made in that. And that's what I like with the Safdie brothers, even with Good Time. Like, there's a point where every character makes a decision, and in this movie specifically, he makes the wrong one almost every time, but also the right one almost every time.
Yeah.
That's what's crazy about it.
That is really the trajectory of the movie. And every 20 minutes, it's like, this movie it doesn't have like a point A, point B, point C. It's basically just peaking all the time.
Yeah, dude, I was fucking like flatline. Like, what's that? I don't know what it's called. I don't know. I was like, the entire time, it's so tense though. Like, you're just like, white knuckling it.
Yeah, you're white knuckling for sure the whole movie. I was sitting there watching it. I was blown away. This movie also is open-ended, which I really, really like.
Yeah.
Nothing really is ever concluded.
Doesn't need to be.
But also everything also is concluded.
Right.
Like, that's why this movie is good, is that everything makes sense and nothing makes sense.
Yeah, and they're produced by Martin Scorsese.
Yeah, it is produced by
It's very obviously something Scorsese would have liked to have made.
Yeah.
Because it does feel like kind of like one of his late 70s gangster movies.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I agree. Because it's all just about like loan sharks and gambling debt, and like there's a part where they beat the shit out of him and leave him in a trunk of a car.
Starring a very Jewish man. Somebody pointed this out, that Adam Sandler, he did the Hanukkah song and now this, and he's probably done the most for Jewish culture than anyone else has ever done, in pop culture at least.
Yeah, absolutely. But Adam Sandler, let's talk about that for a sec.
Yeah.
What the fuck? What?
Oh, he's the best actor on the
Where
planet.
did this guy come from? He's so good.
Cool.
He made Murder Mystery like 4 months ago.
Yeah, and that's one of the most embarrassing movies of the year. And this is the hippest movie of the year, probably.
Yeah, absolutely. This movie also has fucking unreal soundtrack. I almost Googled the vinyl of this because I'm like, where do I get this?
The soundtrack is crazy.
The soundtrack is unreal. It reminds me of Blade Runner. Like, that's how wild it is.
It's so it's almost indescribable how like kind of like melodic it is with what is happening on screen.
I'm also always like blown away by the Safdie brothers' like ability to use unique lighting styles in their movies. Like the scene where they're at like the Weeknd concert, which, by the way, there's a Weeknd commercial in this, so don't worry about that.
Yeah, there is. The Safdies just wanted to hang out with the Weeknd. They're like, they also probably just wanted to hang out with Kevin Garnett.
Yeah.
They're like, who can we get to be in this movie?
Yeah, absolutely.
Which I love about them. They're because they can fucking get a performance out of anybody, apparently.
Perfect. Absolutely perfect.
These guys are going to be so fucking famous. Like, I can't even believe the movies they're going to make.
But there's also like this B plot line in this movie that's also super interesting, and that's like that Adam Sandler and his wife have separated, but they don't want to tell their kids.
Right.
And so Adam Sandler is living with like this fucking dumbass 19-year-old like trophy piece.
Mm-hmm. His Dalmatian wife.
Yeah, his Dalmatian wife. Yeah, that he's fucking.
Because you know after like you divorce your first wife and then you get like a chick that's like as smart as a Dalmatian as your second wife, your Dalmatian wife.
Sure. I've never heard this term. Sounds offensive, but we'll go with it.
It's from Tom Segura's podcast.
Oh, good. Yeah, so he gets this girlfriend who's dumb as a brick. My favorite part of this movie is when they break up. And then she gets his name tattooed on her for some reason. And like it's just like a little joke that's peppered in. It has nothing to do with the rest of the movie. And like you're sitting there and you're like,
but there's so many subtle details in this.
Yes,
like,
absolutely.
You just like you just looking at the screen, like things are happening that are never pointed out and never not necessary. Like just like even the thing about how like his door doesn't work and how subtly they keep going back to that. You know?
Yeah. Oh, and you know what? I also I love Adam Sandler in this movie, but let's talk about some other performances. Lakeith.
Oh, we love Lakeith.
Lakeith Stanfield, unreal, man. I love this guy. I love his trajectory.
Yeah.
I like that he could be in whatever movie he wanted to right now, and he chose to be in this.
Yeah.
Like he clearly wanted to be in
his
this
6
movie.
lines in Knives Out wasn't satisfying enough.
Apparently not. Idina Menzel, though, also fantastic. Even to a point where I was kind of surprised because she's more of like a stage actress. Most times when I see her in a movie, I'm like, that's not quite it. But the Safdie brothers are
They know how to direct people.
They're so good at directing performances.
And I think it's just because they're friends with, like, if you ever watch like an interview with them, they just like seem like the coolest guys to hang out with and stuff. And I think they can just do it, like, because I think like there's some directors like a Kubrick who was like so hard on his actors that like they didn't like them at all.
Yeah,
I think if you're in a Safdie Brothers movie, you like them and you're like, okay, that makes sense that I would do it that way if they're like, nudge you into a certain direction of acting.
Yeah, absolutely. That being said, Stanley Kubrick is also great at getting performances out of people.
Yeah, but all of his actors hated him after. So
yeah, that's true. except for I was gonna say I was gonna say a name, but then I'm like, wait, nobody ever doubled up on Kubrick.
No, because he was a fucking asshole.
I was gonna say, I was like, Jack Nicholson's in a few, and I'm like, oh wait, no, he's just in one. Yeah, I saw an interview with Tom Cruise where he's like, I'm glad I worked with Kubrick before he died, but I would never want to do it again.
Well, Tom Cruise is a little softy, so fucking Kubrick yelling at him would do some damage, I think.
Emotional damage. That might be why he's so fucked up now.
It's almost guaranteed why he's so fucked up now, because it happened almost directly after that movie came out.
Uncut Gems is perfectly paced, perfectly explained, perfectly acted,
and
perfectly lighted.
This is one thing that I don't see in too many movies, but absolutely everything that happens on screen matters for some reason.
Yes, absolutely.
And even when you think that they forgot something,
they didn't. No.
It's so tight. It's one of the tightest scripts I've ever seen, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, JJ, you want to read a good script? JJ, would you like to read this script for the Uncut Gems? I would like you to, actually. You have to read this because that's how you make movie.
That's how you make a movie.
Uncut Gems is a 5.
Absolute 5-star. One of my favorite movies of the year for sure.
Let's talk trailer trash.
Absolutely.
What
did we have on the list?
Pop off on trailer trash. We got the second trailer for Top Gun Maverick.
Right. I saw that in the theater.
And actually so did I right before Star Wars.
Don't care about that at all.
Yeah, I don't care about it at all, and here's why, because the second trailer makes me think maybe Tom Cruise isn't in it very much. And maybe it's more,
it does kind of feel like, he's going to make a cameo.
Yeah.
And everything in this trailer is going to be what he is on screen.
Yeah, and it's going to be about Miles Teller. I think I'm out.
Ooh, we're off Miles Teller train here.
Yeah, we are completely off Miles Teller. But then the second trailer we got was Quiet Place Part 2. So this is the first trailer we got for this. That looks like the same thing. Looks exactly the same.
I'm sure it'll be fun to watch.
It's John Krasinski. He's a good director.
Johnny K. He's passionate about this specific project. So
apparently, but I just this is one of those movies that I look at the trailer and I'm like, I don't think we need that. I don't think we need more of that. I think that the first one worked very, very well.
Yeah.
I loved that first one so much.
Movie.
But do we need two? I don't know. And time will only tell. Maybe the second will be as good, if not better, than the first one. I just doubt it because it just looks like more of the same shit. And maybe that's what they're trying to sell us right now because they're like, the first one worked. Whatever, just give them more of the same shit. But that's not good.
Absolutely.
That's not good filmmaking. So we'll have to wait and see on that one. Hey, Podcast Spot 8000. Hey, Chadley, did you call me? Hey, Buck, how's it going?
What's up, Chip Podcast Bot?
Hey, Buck, Happy New Year.
Oh, okay.
Did you know it's the freeway?
Is it the freeway?
Yeah, and the freeway is going to continue next week.
Seems like we haven't hit any foreign movies yet.
Have you? You haven't hit any foreign movies? Well, hold on a sec. Let me just re-edit the schedule here. Added some in. There we go.
Okay.
Now we got some foreign movies in there.
Sick. Good job, buddy.
On the next week of Movie Epidemic podcast, January the 12th, time stamping it, the boys will be watching Atlantics.
Yep.
It's a Netflix movie out of...
I think it's...
That's foreign
French
from
or
somewhere. But they're also...
Morocco or something? I know it played at the Globe and I didn't see it.
Out of Mexico, they'll also be watching Pain and Glory.
Now this I have seen, and this is one of the best movies of the year for sure.
With Antonio Banderas and Penelope
didn't review
Cruz.
it, even though I saw it at the film festival.
Penelope Cruz, who still looks 20 for some reason.
Absolutely.
Continuing on their Wes Anderson, they're going to be talking about the Darjeeling Limited, and the boys are popping over to the theater to see a new movie from British director, kind of foreign, Sam Mendes with 1917.
Damn.
damn. I think after that, we're going to pretty much have seen everything we need to see.
Pretty much.
But of course, the day after next week's podcast, the Academy Award nominations are going to be released. That's on the 13th of January. And I've never been less excited. Actually, maybe last year. I was not excited last year because all of
last year the movies were bad. This year there's actually good movies out, but I don't know if they're going to pick any of them.
Yeah, they're not going to watch those, dude. Fucking Endgame's going to be nominated for Best Picture, and they'll forget about Uncut Gems.
Oh,
I promise
Parasite wins.
I hope Parasite wins, but it won't.
Parasite's actually like
I've heard
apparently has pretty good odds to actually get into the Best Picture.
I've heard it's front runner.
Yeah.
I've heard it's front runner. So we'll wait and see on that one. Of course, you guys, I've been recently when I listened to the podcast, I've been watching it on the YouTube. And you guys, it's awesome. Like, it is actually awesome to watch on the YouTube. I super highly recommend it.
Yeah, we got our fucking ISIS sheet.
Yeah,
in the background.
we got our TV set. Don't say ISIS sheet. We got
okay. Yeah, my bad.
got our TV set. It looks great on the YouTube. Check out the YouTube. You can find that at movieepidemic.com.
Yeah, put it on your fucking Chromecast, you idiots.
Yeah, put it on your Chromecast while you're just cleaning your apartment or whatever the fuck you're doing. Or while you're cranking it. I don't know. I don't know if I like that.
Crank on your phone.
Don't crank on the phone.
Crank on your phone while you have us on the Google Chromecast.
No, I don't like that.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, you know what? Do it like GWB would. And then you can also find us on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify. You can find us
Podbean, movieepidemic.com.
Podbean. All roads lead to Rome at movieepidemic.com. So make sure you check all that. Hey, thanks you guys for listening. And if you
First episode of the year, an extra long
2020, yeah,
95-minute episode.
Whoops, that's my bad. I think I screamed about Star Wars for too long.